I once talked to a girl who said she hated the movie Inception because I hate movies that make me think. What simple sentence did someone say to you that made you lose all respect for them? Not a joke. My cousin's ex-girlfriend refused to see Public Enemies, the John Dillinger movie, because the cars look wicked old timey and I think they would confuse me. Confused by a car. 4 wheels. Doors. A car. I pity her commute during a year when many manufacturers do a model refresh. On a second date with a girl, our waitress said, "Those are great shoes. Where did you find them?" My date said, "That's sweet of you, but unless you own this place I don't think you can afford them." That waitress is now my girlfriend. Story about newly adopted puppies, and then they trashed the house. So I drove a couple of miles into the country and left them. Ex-friend. I was telling a coworker about my pet iguana, and he told me he had one too, but he set it free in the forest when he got tired of it. I got mad and told him in no uncertain terms he was an idiot who condemned his pet to die of starvation or exposure. We live in the north. There was a girl I hung out with a few times every week for about 3 years during late high school, early college. One day, she came to school with a bunch of PETA stickers and started sticking them on walls and other people's stuff. She put one on my notebook, and I chewed her out over it, not about PETA, but about defacing my stuff. She got agitated and could not seem to understand that I wasn't against her support of PETA, but against her defacing my stuff with their ads. She gave me the silent treatment for a week, then tried to argue with me again about how I should also support PETA. I lost it and pretty much just unloaded every single reason I wouldn't support PETA, from I like meat and think eating animals is moral to the president of PETA uses insulin, but encourages violent resistance against the very research that made such medicine possible. Eventually she put her fingers in her ears and started screaming over me until I shut up. Then came the crescendo of this whole ordeal. I don't give a frick what PETA actually does. I support them because I like animals. That was the day I decided I needed smarter friends. Most people who support PETA don't realize that it's comprised of hypocrites and idiots. I'm not racist or anything, but I don't think blacks and gays deserve rights. Another one. Obama was only elected cause he paid everyone to vote for him. How else would a get into the White House? Or, the White House was only painted white cause they never expected a black person to be president, so I guess they'll have to paint it black now. I'm not racist or anything, but 9/10 is followed by the most racist remark you have ever heard. I have a poster with the First Amendment on it on my bedroom wall. A girl once said that it was creepy how you have propaganda all over the place. Same girl in reference to my small vegetable garden. Isn't that illegal? You're trying to put supermarkets out of business. I wonder how long it will be before it actually is illegal. Those vegetable lobbyists will have you in chains before you know it. A friend said of his friend, who'd I'd begun to like, he loves to drink Red Bull and vodka when he's driving, because he can hold the can easily. He might as well have said his friend likes to go to public parks, slip on a blindfold, and start firing a handgun, but that it's okay because he hasn't shot anyone yet. When I worked in a grocery store, a customer was buying some stuff and decided not to buy the chicken breast she had, and left them with the cashier. The cashier comes down my aisle and asks me where the chicken goes so she can put it back. The conversation went like this. Her, where does the chicken go? Me, with the meat. Points to the meat fridge's coolers. Her, LOL, but chicken isn't meat. She then proceeded to walk past the meat to somewhere else in the store. I was expecting her to turn around and say she was joking, but she just walked away. To this day I still don't know where she put the chicken. Thank God this girl is hot and has a rich dad. When I was living in a family homeless shelter, there was a very nice girl who came to live there. She was 2 months pregnant and came from a strict Muslim family, so I'm guessing they disowned her or something. Nicest girl ever. Nerdy. Liked the same music as me. Taught me loads about her culture and made the tastiest chicken ever. Anyways, one day we're out smoking cigs and somehow the subject of marijuana comes up. She tells me it's OMG awful, illegal, evil. So I calmly explain why it's illegal, what it doesn't do to your body, the chemical breakdown, and she's listening, and then, frick it, whatever. My boyfriend's a weedhead. My baby will be a weedhead no matter what. K. Turns out she was doing C. Prego. She dipped out of the shelter like a week later. TL. DR. Weedhead. A girl I kind of liked was telling me about having to take a philosophy course as part of her undergraduate program. She said she hated it because they always talk about these problems that don't have a clear solution. I don't like things where the answer is hard. Just tell me what to think so I can get a good grade. This was the biggest turnoff ever for me and made me realize she wasn't the intellectually curious girl I thought she was. I'm what you might call ethnocentric. I just think we white people are better. The sad ironic thing about this is the white people who think like this tend to be the scummiest, worst humans ever. I discard them. I'm against gay rights. I don't believe in evolution, no so much respect for this one. More so, I just can't really take them seriously. Was madly in love with this girl back in the good old days of playing Magic: The Gathering. She was adorable, charming, funny, good player, to boot. Tried the old water slugger charm on her. Cracked this joke: what do you call a black man flying a plane? The joke's supposed to put them in a lurch. And you follow up: a pilot. You racist bastard. Laughs would be had. We'd go out for dinner, and we lived together happily making out and building decks. Until her response was a terrorist. Black people are terrorists rendered me speechless, and suddenly was no longer in love with her. I'm pretty sure she heard the joke and was stealing the punchline from you in an attempt to make a joke of her own. Sounds like you missed the joke. My so will not watch films with subtitles as she cannot be bothered to read the text. Leaves me watching great films alone. I feel ambivalent. She said he was cute when he walked in the bar, like he raped her. Ex-boyfriend had gotten a late night phone call from a sobbing female friend who said she had been raped and needed a ride home. I hope that dirty frick gets worms. He beat me in front of the kids for catching him cheating with some H. Here's a picture. I had to get stitches. Thanks for helping me get out of there, but I have to go back to him. I think he's realized his mistake. Can you buy me a phone? We can no longer be friends. When women play a game, it's just a game. When men play a game, it's a sport. That's the difference. Go suck a bag of dongs. Butthole. When men play poker, it's still a fricking game. Sorry, ESPN. On a similar note, I hate when people say they hate foreign movies or anything with subtitles because I came to the movie to see, not to read. You're not reading a fricking novel here. It's not James Joyce. It's just a line or two at a time and you forget you're doing it in less than 5 minutes anyway. I can't read subtitles in movies and understand the whole thing. I lose focus super easy and just start taking in conversations without realizing what they mean. Similar to when you are reading and lose your place. But this goes on for like 20 minutes before I realize I don't have the slightest idea of what's going on. My brother died of cancer. Ex-friend. Hear me out. This sentence was spoken by my ex-friend, call her dingbat, to another friend, Joan, as part of a story. I, however, happened to know that the brother she referred to was actually a pet turtle. Dingbat was so attached to this turtle that she referred to him as her brother to me on several occasions. However, she neglected to mention this to Joan while telling the story. So Dingbat was just going to make Joan believe her actual human brother had actually died of cancer in order to get sympathy and attention, when in reality it was a small reptile who, to be fair, had died of cancer in his tail. I may have started shouting. It would be weird if her human brother died of tail cancer. I recommended North by Northwest to a friend a couple of months ago. He looked at the release year and said I don't watch movies before 1995. I wouldn't trust anyone who hasn't seen Ghostbusters. Today on my news feed, if everyone in that theater had a gun, no one would have died. I don't even know why I go on Facebook anymore. EWW, I hate Green Day. They're ugly, said a girl in my health class. Alright, what artists do you like? I responded. I love the Black Veil Brides. They're so hot. Sigh. Not a fan of Green Day either, but, whoa. I lost almost all of what little respect I had for a classmate when she said, yay, I'm getting my financial aid money soon. Time to go shopping. Our college program gives us a merit-based scholarship, but some people get financial aid which he obviously didn't need. Hearing someone brag about getting financial aid was too much for me. As someone about to go to college with little money, this makes me want to kill. Female friend of a friend. You know, you are a really nice guy. Me. Large, heavily tattooed man. Or, shucks, thanks. Female friend of a friend. Now, maybe if you shaved and got that crap removed from your arms, you'd find someone decent. We all hope you find a nice hairy tattooed woman someday. I was teaching an introductory biology class and I had a girl in it who was a business major. That's fine. A lot of business majors will take the class to get a science or lab credit. No biggie. So we go on a hike. I tell the class about 43,289,798 times before this to wear outdoor clothes. Everyone does. Except her. She's in heels. I make her hike out anyway, because it's part of the course, only a couple of feet into the woods. I start lecturing on different things in the forest and eventually get to mushrooms. I start pointing out some different mushrooms and she interrupts and goes, "Whoa, wait, are you saying mushrooms are alive?" I had no reaction but to laugh. Apparently she thought mushrooms and plants, we later found out, were like rocks. I asked her if she had ever seen a plant grow. She later dropped the class. That's the craziest part, because if you don't know mushrooms and plants are alive, crap, you should absolutely stay in the class, because I guarantee some of the later stuff is probably going to blow your mind. Me. A man walks into a bar. He says ouch. Everyone -1. Laughter. Jane. Ha. I don't get it. Me. He walked into the bar. Jane. Ha. Me. Into the bar. I bang my hand against my forehead. Jane. Oh, I get it. Me. A priest, a pedophile, and a rapist walks into a bar. He orders a beer. Everyone -1. Laughter. Jane. What? Me. He orders a beer. Jane. Which one is he? Me. It's all the same guy. The guy is a priest, a pedophile, and a rapist. Jane. Your jokes suck. I don't like jokes that make you think. It was the same thing for every joke I told that night. I wouldn't say I lost all respect for her just because she had no sense of humor and didn't get wordplay, but it sure didn't raise my opinion of her. My husband's the same. He prefers comedies and straightforward, no frills action movies. Films that don't require thinking. He's a very intelligent person, but he likes to kick back and relax with mindless entertainment. Some people don't like to have to think when they're watching something for fun. I'm that way. Some days after a long day of programming, I like to just come home and veg out with laughter. Now, on the weekend, I would love thinking movies. Just after work I don't want to use my mind anymore. I dated a much older, extremely wealthy man for a year. Once, we were at a club and that song by Bruno Mars came on. You know the one. I wanna be a billionaire so frickin' bad. He was dancing around like a moron singing along, stopped suddenly and said, "Oh wait, I already am," then laughed hysterically. Actually that's pretty funny. Pretty much just this, that post-traumatic stress disorder isn't real. They're just a bunch of pussies and they're faking it. In a conversation about whether the Lord of the Rings books were better than the movies, I think books are movie ruiners. LOTR was such a good movie series, the books just ruined it. I once informed a coworker that somebody in his department called to say that he wouldn't be able to come in for his early morning shift because his wife was in a car accident and is in the hospital. His response: "It's always something with this guy." I just want to punch every F I see in the face. I literally never spoke the guy again. Homophobia and intolerance is the easiest way to make me hate you. Well, to be fair, some people just want mindless entertainment from their movies. They do enough thinking at work, school. You know the old euphemism, listening to you has actually made me dumber while waiting for the movie to start in a theater. I was privy to a conversation from a group of 13-15-year-old girls that made me want to read Twilight fanfiction and post on YouTube about religion. Some of the gems: Girl 1. Hahaha. The guy in the trailer looks like Gandhi Girl 2. Who's Gandhi Girl 3? Wasn't he a wrestler? Girl 1 yet? Girl 1. My mom is such a B. Girl 2. My mom is such a B2. Girl 3. My mom's the biggest B of all. She won't let me listen to my iPod when I'm driving. Girl 1. That's just mean. There's more. But, frick, you get it. First I was irritated, then kind of angry, but eventually I just felt sad. Gandhi a wrestler? Really? It wasn't even necessarily the content of the conversation, really, but the speed at which topics shifted. It was like watching squirrels jerk off. Old backwaters fart. That's a friend of my parents, going on about how people are racist against white people. We have Black History museums, but not White History museums. We have Black History Month, but White History Month would be racist. And I'm sorry if you get stereotyped, but a lot of the time it's true. She goes on about Middle Eastern people here for a while, but I don't remember it well enough to reiterate. I then described the situation, incredulously, to my sister, 25 years old, who I was just starting to get closer with. In retrospect, now that I have decided to stop talking to her years later, I can see this was a red flag about how she approaches any and all experiences different from her own, including telling me my migraines are all in my head. Not as a pun, ironic joke. My sister's response to the above story: wow, yeah, geez. Those are things everybody thinks, but you're not supposed to say it out loud. We have Black History museums, but not White History museums. Yes, we do. White History museums are just called museums. We have Black History Month, but White History Month would be racist. We do have White History Month. It's called every single day of the year. When people use gay as a pejorative, I met a guy the other day, in his early 20s, who had replaced all negative words in his vocabulary with gay. You had a flat tire? That's frickin' gay. You lost your job? That's gay as crap. I ain't gay, but I want to be a waiter. That guy looks gay as crap. My computer is gay. I can't play any games. I know many people who do this actually aren't bigots, but you sound like one. It's an ugly tick. Homosexuals are gay as crap. Why should I have to learn about math and science when I'd rather know about celebrities or songs on the radio? Some girl who did not get a second date with me. I don't believe in dinosaurs. I mean, how do they know what they look like and what they ate? My response: science. That's how. Not true. There's a lot of guesswork in the dinosaurs that we know. We have bones, so we know the general form, but we have very little to go off of as to what they look like with their skin scales. On Tuesday I worked in an area with a lot of Muslims. They were coming in and out of the store as we were doing an install. The guy I was working with is the single fastest install tech company wide. No exaggeration. When we finished up for the day, I was helping him load crap into his car and he tells me, "Man, I hate Muslims. Look at the way they dress. Just makes me wonder, what are they hiding under there? A bomb? An explosive? Are we all going to die?" Every single shred of respect I had for the man is now gone. I'm considering informing HR about this. This guy obviously shouldn't work with anyone who isn't Christian, or very quiet about their beliefs, but I'm sure somehow I would get fired for it, not him. My problem with Inception was that it held your hand and explained the plot like 3 times. So for that girl to say she doesn't like Inception because it makes you think, is probably the dumbest person on the planet. I'd like to see her watch Antichrist. I lose respect for people who display more than a little intellectual elitism. For example, whining because someone doesn't like to read or do things that are mentally demanding. While I don't support anti-intellectualism either, we all have differences and there is more to a person and their value than IQ. Also, the genuinely smart people I know do not need to brag or puff up their ego by criticizing others. Those that do this sort of thing come across as mean-minded tryhards. While in the car listening to Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne on the radio, I can't believe they ripped off the Lil Jon song. I made her get out and walk. For those who are worried, we were only a couple blocks from her house. Obviously you can tell from my username, but that deeply offends me. This guy in our science class was flirting with one of my friends who was African American. When I asked her whether she likes him, no, I mean come on, he's black. Obviously we aren't friends anymore. I had a regular lunch buddy at work, Someone I had known for a couple of years in a casual way. Suddenly at one lunch, she mentioned how Jews control everything around the world. It was like some scene out of V. I was polite, and I tried to argue her away from this position, but she was pretty sure that I was naive for not understanding this. It's been a few years now, but I don't remember ever talking to her again. My dad. Let me tell you something. If someone uses a tissue then hands it to you, would you use it? Your GF is a used tissue. All Americans are. Don't get too attached. Frick off, you sexist bastard, and don't ever talk about my GF again. Same principle. I was talking to a coworker about her faith, and I said something along the lines of, why would you strictly listen to a book? Would you not want to learn from your own experiences and make those decisions? To which she replied, no, I don't want to think for myself. I want something to tell me what to think. And from then on, I never talked to her again, apart from the hey. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.